Are you willing to accept Christ's invitation to know Him more intimately, love Him more intensely, and follow Him more closely, and then go out into the world and live His good news? If you say yes, then you could be the 13th apostle. Join Dan Duddy and Tom Caffrey, the odd couple of Catholic radio, as they ride the radio waves 2 by 2 to share the goodness, beauty, and truth of Jesus Christ and His church. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 13th apostle.
So do you have a home parish? Do you have a home parish that you actually go to? Or are you a parish hopper?
Parish Hopper.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the 13th Apostle, where we explore the good, beautiful, and true of the Catholic faith and the Catholic Church. This is Thomas Caffrey with my partner. What are you tonight? I like Dano. Kind of
Dano, I'll take Dano.
F50, Hawaii 50.
Yeah, book him,
Great
Dano.
character.
Yeah.
And his name matched his look. I mean, it just was,
I would say so.
it's close cropped hair, just
Yeah.
getting it done. The boss had the limelight.
About a foot taller than me.
Dano was?
Yeah.
I thought he was shorter.
Oh no, Dano was the other guy. Yeah, he was more like me, my height.
Oh, so you were thinking that I was thinking that you were like the guy in charge. Like you thought Dano was the boss?
For a minute there, yeah, but you're right. Dano is kind of an informal. Yeah, I mean Dano is a nickname for Dan, and that guy was kind of an informal, kind of a loosey goose, kind of a light personality.
Yeah, I
Dano.
think so. I mean, he always wore a jacket and tie. I mean, that was the way it was.
Everybody did. I wore a jacket and tie when I watched that show. I was in sixth
Oh,
grade.
goodness. So far, let's see. Are we exploring the good? Yeah, and the true and the beautiful? I'm not
There's no
sure,
true
but
with two Irish guys. There's no true with the truth is there's no truth with two Irish guys. Don't
bartender,
ruin
flag
it.
him, please.
All right, let's go.
Uh, so, the subject of parish hopping. I don't know whether that's in my research. I didn't find anything. It seemed like it's more common over the last 30, 40 years.
Mhm.
I don't know what it was like. You and I are products of what Father Benedict Groeschel once said, the golden age of American Catholicism,
Mhm.
of, I don't know, let's say the late 40s, 50s, and it's like a 20-year period, something like that. And of course, we're product of the baby boom generation.
Mhm.
We are the baby boom generation. And
Mhm.
so for the longest time, I thought most churches looked like mine in when I was in my town where I was growing up. Our parish was, we lived in the town where our parish was. And I thought the pews were always full everywhere where there was Catholicism. And you did what the priest said. Everybody in the community went to church. It's definitely not that way anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that as representative of every parish, obviously. No one could know that. But I don't know if I have experience with 15, 20 parishes, very similar. And uh, so I know, I would say you and I, we definitely parish hop. When I say definitely, it means that we do. I don't want to say that I certainly can't speak for you. I don't do it a lot. I know you like to go, well, you're not in your home parish. You go to another parish because you like the Latin Mass. Um,
Because Maura, my wife, likes the Latin Mass. That's why. That's our official parish. We're like 4 churches away.
so
Why
so
so
you
silent?
but you pass 3 or 4 parishes before you get
Right.
to the one. And that was a comment that I think every article I read made it, how many parishes do you
Uh,
bypass before you get to the one where you want to go?
there's another reason too why we go to that parish, and it actually carries more weight. But I don't know if you want to do that right now because I know
Go
I just
ahead.
go off.
Go ahead.
It's because my father helped build that church. And that church is right smack in the middle of my old neighborhood, which I was very fond of at growing up. I didn't leave that neighborhood until I was 30 years old. And my brother and I had a paper route that we would drop off all our newspapers on the way to serving the 6 a.m. mass there, and then get back home at St. Dominic's Church in Brick Township, New Jersey, and then get back home and get on a bus and then go to St. Peter's Parish Church and School in Point Pleasant Beach, which is about a 30-minute bus ride. So there's sentiment to St. Dominic's Church, as well as the Latin Mass. So yeah, that's why we're there. I don't go there as much as Maura does. She likes the 12 o'clock Latin Mass.
So have you
And I love it too. But
would you have you built would you say you've built a community around that parish?
well, the community that I witnessed, once again, I was 30 years old when I was still living in Brick Township
No, I
teaching.
mean now.
No, so it's a long-standing community. So I want to say this, when I do go to mass there, I see a lot of faces that are my age that I was elbow to elbow with and hung around with most of my life there. Now there is a Latin Mass community that Mora is enjoying, but not so much anything like the community that I had when I was there. My father helped build the basketball program. We were always in that gym every Saturday, bouncing basketballs, playing softball on the softball field. My father got the lights from the old Ebbets Field for that softball field there. So there was a lot of family pride.
Did he pay for them?
I'm sorry?
Did he pay for them?
No, I think he might have got them donated. I think he heard they were getting torn down, and he wound up getting them, which was pretty cool. But my mother and father also came from, looking back, as Father Groeschel said, came from St. Michael's Parish in Jersey City, a city where people said, when they said where they lived, they named the parish that they lived in. Oh, we're from St. Aloysius, we're from St.
Right.
Michael's. Yeah, so I mean, things are different now, and I think they're different for a multitude of reasons. But I think one of the main reasons is politics and the scandal, and how politics entered the scandal, or the scandal is political, or became political all the way through the hierarchy, and it caused a division, and it caused people to become judgmental and pick their own places of worship. You know.
So you said your father helped build that church.
Mhm.
Have you ever thought that like one of your children would say that my father built the church in our neighborhood, like your geographical parish?
Mhm.
Is it something where you building your own as opposed to going to where your father built the parish, that you build your own parish in your geographical parish?
Mhm. Yeah,
That you would say that you would build that.
yeah, no, there's a lot of truth in that too, because I can tell you in reality, when I moved out of Brick Township and into Toms River, in a certain amount of time, I was then hired at St. Joseph's Church in Toms River, and this high school, Monsignor Donovan High School, which is now Donovan Catholic High School. And I felt, by the grace of God, and my contributions and participation in football and mentoring program, and how it infiltrated the school, and how we took a lot of those things and brought it into the church, the things that we were doing on the football field. Yeah, there was a building going on there as well. But I'm not there anymore. And this is what's happened to me, is now I'm teaching at a high school an hour north. There's a participation going on there that's very rewarding, and the contributions are really being felt, by those who I'm with. Praise God. And so it's where I've been called to go.
But why don't you like your hometown parish? What moves you away from that and toward your hometown, your childhood hometown parish?
Well, I don't have the opportunity to fulfill this drive and this charism that I like to really put out there, this energy that we all should feel there, because I don't think it's accepted there, recognized, and is going to be facilitated. It's not going to be a practical thing there anymore. So I feel like I need to be somewhere where I can extend myself and be a little bit more prolific, bear those fruits that we always talk about in other places where there's a need.
I mean, you're like a little bit of a lab study in a way from the articles and research that we've done for
Hmm.
this episode, and to find out, you can read about references, quotes from other people when they're interviewed as to why why they hop to different parishes.
Mhm.
Maybe I think most of the references I saw, people did were participating in their hometown parish, but they would periodically, or some would go quite frequently to the other parishes
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons. And the criticism from people critiqued these articles, and there was debates about this topic in these articles, and I've heard some of them, I've participated in some of the debates over the years. That are you doing it because of, and this is what we talked about last week with Peter Carter and the book that he co-wrote with Cardinal Robert Sarah, excuse me, that book Song of the Lamb, and he was the prefect for divine worship, the Congregation for Divine Worship, and I where is the focus? Is the focus on me? It's like people said, well, we've talked about this many times. I didn't get anything out of it. Now, somebody could say, well, I didn't get anything out of it, so I either stopped going to mass,
Mhm.
or I left the church, where it was about the individual, as opposed to no matter where we are, we're supposed to glorify God. So worship. And so, that's why I say, you're kind of a little bit of a lab experience. Say, well, what do you feel like? Maybe you are relying a lot on feelings. Do you feel, do you believe, do you know that you don't get out of, you don't benefit much from your hometown parish, so you go somewhere else?
No.
Or are you saying that you can glorify God better by going to a Latin Mass than going to your hometown parish?
Well, I don't think it's fair that you keep bringing up the Latin Mass because that's not why I am happy at St. Dominic's Church. Mora loves the Latin Mass. I find myself okay there because of there's a school there. My father built it there. I see my neighborhood when I go there. It's great to go back to my old stomping grounds. But yeah, the Latin Mass, it don't elevate that too much with my regard. Maura could talk to you more about that, my wife. But here's the thing too. We do Catholic radio. So we're not sitting at St. Joseph's Church, or you're not sitting in your church and only taking your radio station and putting it into your parish, and I'm not doing it at St. Joseph's Church. There's a universality that we go out and we try to reach out to the peripheries all the time. So I mean that's the nature of our Catholic radio show, right? So where is that line drawn? And it's not a matter of my not wanting to be at a particular church. It's a matter of there's a need for me perhaps at another church or in another area, push outward. That's the true nature of evangelism, right? I mean, are the 12, I mean, gosh, all their travels, the geographical travels. Yeah. So, and, have Eucharist will travel. It's all about the Eucharist. I don't think I've ever, I don't think I've ever wanted to not go to a church because of the stuff that was stressed in those articles that we read. We didn't like the priests. We didn't like the homilies. We didn't like, I think we've always put our eyes on the Eucharist, and that was never going to be a reason not to go. Although there was a church that really quashed Mora and hurt her with regards to the Eucharist. We could only receive the Eucharist there. This was before we went to St. Dominic's and became parishioners, with latex gloves on the priest's hands, and he did that for quite a while beyond COVID. And Morris said, Dan, I can't do this, and he would not give her the host by mouth. So that's one example of the Eucharist, getting compromised in our thinking. We just thought that it just was not right. So that's a church that Moore never cares to go back to. But yeah, so
Are there things about your hometown, your geographical hometown parish that you don't like? Because it just helps bring it out. It's like what we read was theory, and now we've got somebody who actually who will church hop. Uh, Maybe I think you do it more than I do. but perhaps not. Uh, sometimes I won't. I'll go to a different parish for mass. I don't think for any other sacrament. I don't. I don't think for any other. No confession. I'll stay with my
Mhm.
hometown parish. Sometimes you know that although prior to reading the book Song of the Lamb in our discussion last week with Peter Carter, that I was much more affected by the music ministry of any given parish. And if I didn't like it, okay, and I would have liked to have drilled a little deeper with Peter about that because I think I wasn't sure whether he was being just maybe overly generous when I said is there anybody that shouldn't sing? And the point I was making was that if you're really off key, which is a common complaint about parish choirs, is that draw people's focus away from God and toward that it just doesn't sound good and it's just very unappealing. Sometimes I'll go to all different parishes and some of them I like and some of them I don't like in terms of the music ministry.
Mhm.
I went to a parish, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and this was very unusual. Well, the priest, who was a pastor, I thought I was watching like one of the Holy Rollers on TV from 60 years ago. It was very lively, somewhat entertaining. Uh, and it's some of it is subjective, right? I mean, in some ways, yeah, there's objective standards of beauty that everybody would say, yeah, that's beautiful. But then there's other things where, yeah, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder or the ears of the beholder.
Sure, it's natural, yeah.
You know,
I mean, Peter Carter's music is unbelievable.
yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say to him. I said, you're in a rarefied atmosphere. And anytime I've heard him, and I mentioned it on the air, that it's been in beautiful settings and he's got a great choir. But he's also very skilled at what he does as a choir, a music director, highly trained and whatnot. I don't know, but I would guess from my experience, most parishes don't have that.
No,
So,
it's true. I mean,
I mean, somebody who's gone to graduate school, let's say, for music, all these different things. So,
I also have relationships. Like I have good friendships with a lot of priests, as you do. So oftentimes I'll go where they are, knowing that they're saying mass, so I could just kind of chum around with them after mass a little bit and catch up with them. I mean, that's not super prevalent, but that's part of the formula too. As to why I might move to it from one church to another. The other reason is I'm on the road a lot. I'm still out there traveling quite a bit.
I thought of this as well, that I would say probably maybe 10 guys, maybe more. I'll say 10 to 15 guys from my parish. You've been involved in my parish, and I don't know anybody from your parish. And it's not a complaint. It's just an observation.
What is it? But see, that's another thing. I go to your parish for mass sometimes too, because I hit the Bible and Bagel
Right.
meeting.
That's right. I mean, you've participated in my parish
Hmm.
a fair amount for somebody who's not a member of the parish.
Hmm.
So I just find it very interesting.
You
As an,
finding it interesting that you don't know men from my parish? I thought you were saying that as
yeah, I
well.
have nothing to do with your parish.
Mhm.
Now, in terms of your hometown parish, I think you have very little to do with that parish. Am I right?
I had a lot to do with that parish until recently. I was their head football coach. All that stuff.
No, no, no. I mean, where you live, you've been living
Oh,
where,
locally
like
here?
5 years?
Yeah, you're talking about St. Catherine's here in Spring Lake. Yeah, I don't.
No, not
I
Spring Lake.
no. There's a St. Catherine's in Spring Lake. I am
Yeah,
sorry. This St. Catherine's is in Seaside Park, and there's a beautiful St. Catherine's up in Spring Lake. Yeah,
right.
yeah. No, you're right. I go there probably 3 out of 4 Sundays a month. St. Catherine's.
To your hometown parish?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you're fairly involved, at least from the standpoint of the sacraments. I mean, so I guess with your mass and confession, you would go to your current hometown parish 3 times. Okay,
Yeah, but
so
there's not much there, Tom. There's not much parish life at all.
uh,
In the summer, it's all tourists. They're all named Joe, and they're in and out. And in the winter, there's hardly anyone there. And
see, those are important points.
I'm telling you, it's a ghost town. And once again, in the summer, it's like a turnstile. These people come in for a week, they're renters, you don't see them again. And the church is full in the summer.
Mm,
So you don't want to be a part of a parish, but you know,
yeah, it's kind of hard to build a community with that type of profile.
and the church that more loves St. Dominic's and the place I grew up in, loaded with community, loaded with activity, loaded with action, energy. It's attractive. And St. Joseph's is doing great too. It's always been. They have a cemetery. Those priests are the busiest guys, man. They have a cemetery.
Wait, what's St. Joseph's?
St. Joseph's and Tom's River, the parish we were alluding to before. They have two schools. They had a cemetery. They got a hospital. I mean, those priests are like they wear track shoes. They're running all the
Yeah,
time.
the dynamism
And
is
there's a
attractive.
lot of platforms there to contribute to if you'd like to.
Hmm. Yeah, as a matter of fact, on the 14th, I have a date with my parish, February 14th, Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
So there's an event there for all the ministry leaders, and it's partly to recruit. We have a very busy parish. Sometimes I wonder if there's just so much busyness, but well, I'm sure everybody's got their heart in the right place. But speaking of that type of activity and what's going on in the parish, I mean, I can call on people, and I have. Like if I needed a ride somewhere,
hmm
or for whatever reason, there's people I can call, and so there's a strong community in our parish, and that's a nice thing. And you make friendships with that as well, and that's especially important for people who are single,
yeah,
which is the way it was for for all ages.
hmm
It's not that way anymore, and we've talked about that. It'd be
yeah.
great if we could introduce young people to other young people, and all of a sudden there's boyfriend, girlfriend. Next thing you know, you got marriages that could come out of that, and that community grows. It's definitely not that way anymore.
It's not. That's when we had communities. When the church was the center of the community. That's where we had. Oh, Mary Sue's marrying Johnny, and they're coming to the altar, and they've known each other 3 blocks away from each other. Those are the types of things that have disappeared, and attendance is down. So it's no longer really community based. CYO basketball, CYO sports are no longer an attractive type platform for athletics. Everybody's out there with personal trainers, and they're practicing their sports on a so-called higher level. So that's no longer the glue. Back in the day, it was boxing in the basements, right? The priest was showing the guys in the neighborhood how to box and stuff, and
But never on Sunday.
never on Sunday. Yeah,
We never played sports on Sunday.
that's
Now there's
true.
always travel teams. Everybody's so busy on Sundays.
Oh, it's killing the church, Tom. It's
And we
absolutely
did an
killing.
episode on that.
Yeah.
Travel sports teams for youth.
Yeah, and I actually have I have an app called masstimes.com, which I share with people because they say, hey, I can't go, I'm always out on the road. Well, they are always out on the road. So they're parish hopping like big time if they're going to use this app because they're in Pennsylvania, they're in New York, they're in Delaware. So and I use it all the time. Maura and I use the masstimes.com all the time. You can find a mass within 2 or 3 miles of you where, pretty much.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if it's ever going to come back. I don't know if the core parish feeling is ever going to come back to our neighborhoods. I
yeah.
don't know.
I would say, like so many things, like most things, each of us has to make a decision. What are we going to do?
hmm
If we think this or that is very important, uh, what will we do to make that, either to bring that back? Maybe it's in ministry. Maybe it was like a CYO, and there's no CYO anymore in a given parish, or most parishes in the diocese, let's say. So what can we do? And it's hard to do that by yourself. So that's where it's good to team up. And again, by doing that, I mean, friendships are formed. But we're such a mobile society
Yeah.
today. I
hmm
mean, one of my neighbors, they are all over the country with the girls softball team.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's tough to, and there's so many things connected, which we've talked about. Okay, well, They got to play sports all the time because that's how we're going to get a ticket to college. So we have to pay these outrageous costs of college. We're not going to be in debt for $100,000 or $200,000.
Yep.
So we got to play sports, even though a small percentage of them will get scholarships.
And we're never where our feet are. We got these cell phones. We're always way outside of ourselves, way outside of our geographical area. There are no more boundaries. We're never in the present, it appears. It's a very difficult thing to make happen. That's what's necessary. Be where
Yeah,
you
we'd have to give this more thought to develop some ideas, and to, again, it would have to be in each of us. It's our, not just the two of us, but our listeners. Like, what are you going to do in your parish? Is there something you can do? Are you contributing at all in your parish other than just receiving the sacraments? Are you participating in any one of the 20, 30 ministries there in a parish to build that community, get to know more and more people? All of a sudden, people are inviting people over for dinner or lunch or something like that.
yeah.
We're getting together. Again, you build friendships like that.
You got to strengthen the core. You got to make the core visible. And then you got to reach those arms out there and pull people to something that's worthy to them. The core. You've got to make a core out of it. And I think that's what's lacking.
You got to be willing to be with people that are unlike you, like you and me.
It's difficult.
It is extremely difficult. Um,
It's a sanctification, though, I'm sure.
That's it. I'm looking for Simon. Help me carry my cross.
Amen. Uh,
All
all
right,
right.
Danny, what's coming up next?
Stay tuned, folks, for the Angelus and your prayer intentions with Peter and Jemmy.
Build a parish. Build a parish, friends. This is our parish in a way, WQPHradio.org. But we got our parish family there, Marianne, Jean, James, and the crew, our colleagues with their programs. You just mentioned one, right, Peter?
Mhm.
So anyway, let's see what we can do. Let's support each other, support our parish.
Mhm.
God bless you, Danny.
God bless you, Thomas, and God bless you all.
Thank you for listening to the 13th Apostle with Dan Duddy and Tom Caffrey. For more information on Dan, visit his website at www.danduddy.com or email dcduddy@gmail.com. Tom's website is faithpilgrims.com or email trcaffrey@faithpilgrims.com. How about you? Will you be the 13th Apostle?